Now, for all of my followers, my Australian tone may be tiring you all telling tales and trying for some slight humour in these stories. However, we are switching it up today as we are talking about an icon. So let me introduce my Italian cousin.
In the twilight of his life, Enzo Ferrari sat in his Spartan office in Maranello, surrounded by the ghosts of victories past. The year was 1986, and at 88, the Commendatore was a man racing against time itself. Leukemia had begun to sap his strength, but his mind remained a furnace of ambition, stoked by a singular obsession: to create a final masterpiece, a car that would distill the essence of Ferrari into its purest form. No luxury, no compromise, just raw, unfiltered passion carved into metal, carbon, and fire. This was to be the Ferrari F40, unveiled in 1987 to celebrate 40 years of Ferrari's legacy, a machine that would not only bear Enzo's name, but carry his soul into eternity. It was his last gift to the world, a defiant snarl against mortality, and a legend that time, even now, cannot overtake. The F40 was born in a crucible of ambition, secrecy, and urgency. Enzo's directive to his team was unequivocal: build the fastest, most exhilarating road car Ferrari had ever produced, a machine that would honor the company's racing heritage while pushing the boundaries of what a road-legal supercar could be. The project, codenamed Tipo F120, was entrusted to a clandestine group led by Nicola Materazzi, a brilliant engineer whose resume included turbocharged Lancia rally cars and Ferrari's Formula One engines. Working alongside Pininfarina's designers, including Leonardo Fioravanti and Pietro Camadella, the team toiled in secrecy, often after hours, to evade the bureaucratic oversight of Fiat, Ferrari's parent company, since 1969. Development began in June 1986 with a brutal 11-month timeline to deliver a car that would shock the world. On July 21, 1987, at Maranello's Civic Centre, the F40 was unveiled. A crimson predator, low and lean, its angular lines slicing through the air like a blade. Enzo, frail but resolute, gave his approval, his final act, before passing on August 14, 1988. To grasp the F40's significance, one must step back to the late 1980s, a time when the automotive world was a battleground of innovation and ego. The supercar wars were in full swing, fueled by a technological arms race and the fallout of motorsport's most dangerous era. The early 1980s had been dominated by Group B rally racing, a category where manufacturers unleashed barely tamed beasts with 500-plus horsepower hurtling through forests and deserts before frenzied crowds. Cars like the Audi Quattro S1, Peugeot 205 T16, and Lancia Delta S4 were engineering marvels, their turbocharged engines and lightweight chassis pushing the limits of physics. But the dream turned deadly. In 1986, Finnish driver Henri Toivonen and co-driver Sergio Cresto perished in a fiery crash during the Tour de Corse, their Lancia Delta S4 plunging off a cliff. Earlier incidents, including spectator deaths, forced the FIA to ban Group B outright, leaving manufacturers with orphaned prototypes and unspent ambition. Ferrari had entered this arena with the 288 GTO, unveiled in 1984 at the Geneva Motor Show. Designed for Group B homologation, which required 200 road-legal units, the 288 GTO was Ferrari's first turbocharged road car, its 2.855-litre twin-turbo V8 producing 400 horsepower and a top speed of 189 miles per hour. Only 272 were built, each a collector's prize, but the Group B ban meant it never raced. Undeterred, Ferrari pushed the concept further with the 288 GTO Evoluzione in 1986. 5 prototypes were crafted, each a radical evolution with a lightweight 940 kilograms, 2,072 pounds, chassis, aggressive aerodynamics, and a boosted V8 delivering up to 650 horsepower at 7,800 RPM, capable of 225 miles per hour. With carbon fiber panels, a massive rear wing, and Nakai ducts feeding air to its turbos, the Evoluzione was a race car in all but name, a direct ancestor to the F40. The broader supercar landscape was equally fierce. Porsche's 959, unveiled in 1985, was a technological marvel, blending all-wheel drive, adaptive suspension, and a twin-turbo flat-six producing 450 horsepower, reaching 197 miles per hour. Born from Group B aspirations, it pivoted to road supremacy, its sophistication a stark contrast to Ferrari's raw ethos. Lamborghini's Countach, evolving since 1974, remained the poster child of excess, its 5.2-litre V12 in the LP 5000 Quattrovalvole model, delivering 455 horsepower and 183 miles per hour, its scissor doors and wedge shape defining supercar bravado. Turbocharging was the era's black magic, transforming modest engines into titans, but it brought challenges. Turbo lag, heat management, and the need for lightweight materials to offset added complexity. Enzo Ferrari observed this rivalry with a mix of respect and defiance. The 959 was too clinical, its electronics dulling the driver's connection. The Countach, too flamboyant, prioritizing style over substance. Enzo's vision was different, a car that echoed the purity of Ferrari's 1950s racers like the 250 GTO, yet harnessed modern technology to deliver unmatched performance. The F40 wasn't a direct response to Porsche, as some speculated, but an inevitable culmination of Ferrari's philosophy: speed through simplicity, emotion through engineering. As a Ferrari spokesperson later said, "We wanted it to be very fast, sporting in the extreme, and Spartan. Customers had complained that Ferraris like the Testarossa were too plush, too civilized. The F40 would strip away the veneer, delivering a machine for purists who craved the edge." The development story: forging a legend. The F40's creation was a high-stakes drama, a race against time and corporate constraints. Nicola Materazzi, a maverick engineer with a passion for turbocharging, was the linchpin. His experience with Lancia's Stratos and Ferrari's 126C Formula One car gave him the expertise to tackle Enzo's challenge. Working outside Fiat's oversight, Materazzi's team operated like a skunk works, sacrificing weekends and holidays to meet the 1987 deadline. The F40 was built on the 288 GTO Evoluzione's foundation, but refined for the road. Lighter, more practical, yet no less ferocious. Pininfarina's role was pivotal. Leonardo Fioravanti, who had shaped icons like the 365 GTB/4 Daytona, oversaw the design, while Pietro Camardella penned the F40's aggressive lines. The goal was functional beauty. Every curve, vent, and duct served performance. The body comprised just 11 composite panels, Kevlar, carbon fiber, and Nomex, bonded to a tubular steel chassis with aluminum reinforcements. Weighing 1,100 kilograms dry, 2,425 pounds, the F40 was a featherweight, its power-to-weight ratio rivaling race cars. Aerodynamics were honed in Pininfarina's wind tunnel, achieving a drag coefficient of 0.34 through a partial undertray, front canards, and a rear diffuser. The iconic rear wing, a nod to the Evoluzione, generated downforce without excessive drag, while Nakai ducts fed cool air to the engine and brakes. The interior was a study in minimalism, a rebuke to the era's growing obsession with luxury. No carpets, no sound deadening, no air conditioning, just a flocked dashboard, simple analog gauges, and a gated 5-speed shifter rising from an exposed metal gate. Door handles were replaced with pull cords, and sliding plexiglass windows evoked race cars of yore. The bucket seats, upholstered in fire-resistant fabric, offered no adjustment. The steering wheel, unassisted, demanded muscle. This was a cockpit built for focus, where the driver's senses were consumed by the car's raw feedback. Engineering the F40 was a balancing act of power and control. The heart was the Tipo F120A engine, a 2.936-litre twin turbocharged 90-degree V8, evolved from the 288 GTO's 2.855-litre unit. With a bore of 82 mm and stroke of 69.5 mm, it featured dual overhead cams per bank, 32 valves, and twin IHI turbochargers spinning at up to 150,000 revolutions per minute, fed by massive Baer intercoolers. Weber Marelli electronic fuel injection managed the 7.7:1 compression ratio, delivering 478 PS, 471 horsepower, at 7,000 RPM and 577 Newton-meters, 426 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 revolutions per minute. Turbo lag was pronounced, a deliberate choice to preserve the explosive rush when boost hit, propelling the F40 from 0 to 100 km per hour in 3.9 seconds. Some tests recorded 4.1 and to a top speed of 324 km per hour, 201 miles per hour, the first production car to break 200 miles per hour. The drivetrain was equally purposeful. A 5-speed manual gearbox with a dogleg first gear fed power to a limited slip differential, ensuring precise control. Suspension was race-derived, double wishbones front and rear, with coilover shocks, adjustable Coney dampers and anti-roll bars, but no adaptive systems. Brakes were Brembo ventilated discs, 330 mm front, 310 mm rear, with 4-piston calipers, offering fade-free stopping power. Pirelli developed bespoke P0 tyres, 245/40ZR, 17 front, 335/35ZR, 17 rear, balancing grip and durability for a car that could exceed 1.0 G laterally. Testing was relentless. Ferrari's chief test driver, Dario Benuzzi, pushed prototypes around Fiorano, where the F40 lapped faster than any road Ferrari before. Real-world trials on twisting Italian roads refined the chassis, balancing grip with the ever-present threat of oversteer. Materazzi insisted on no driver aids, no ABS, no traction control, no power steering. The F40 demanded skill, rewarding the brave with a telepathic connection to the road. "It's not a car you drive, it's a car you wrestle," Benuzzi later said, a sentiment echoed by every driver who tamed its fury. Technical breakdown. The anatomy of a beast. The F40's brilliance lies in its obsessive engineering, a symphony of lightweight materials, raw power, and analog precision. Let's dissect its technical soul. Engine. The Tipo F120A, a 2,936 cubic centimeter twin-turbo V8, was a masterpiece of compact fury. Its 90-degree V-angle and aluminum block kept weight low, while twin IHI turbos, each with a wastegate, delivered 1.1 bar of boost. Output was 478 horsepower at 7,000 revolutions per minute, with a red line of 7,750 revolutions per minute and 577 Newton-meters at 4,000 revolutions per minute. Bosch Motronic ensured precise fuel delivery, taming the turbo's ferocity. Weight. Dry weight was 1,100 kilograms, thanks to a 110-kilogram tubular steel chassis and composite body panels. Kevlar, carbon fiber, Nomex. Curb weight varied, 1,235 kilograms for European spec, up to 1,369 kilograms for US models with catalytic converters and reinforced bumpers. Power-to-weight ratio was 2.6 kilograms per horsepower, rivaling race cars. Performance. 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.9 seconds. 0 to 200 kilometers per hour in 6.9 seconds. 11 seconds, quarter mile in 12.1 seconds at 122 miles per hour. Top speed 324 kilometers per hour. Braking from 100 kilometers per hour took 32 meters. Lateral grip exceeded 1.0 G. Transmission. 5-speed manual with dogleg first, synced to a limited slip differential. Gear ratios were optimized for acceleration, with 5th gear allowing sustained high-speed cruising. Suspension. Double wishbones, coilover shocks, adjustable Koni dampers, anti-roll bars, no adaptive systems, ensuring pure feedback. Brakes. Brembo ventilated discs, 330mm front, 310mm rear, 4-piston calipers, no ABS. Aerodynamics. Drag coefficient of 0.34 with a rear wing, front canards, undertray and Nassier ducts optimizing downforce and cooling. Tires. Pirelli P0, 245/40 ZR 17 front, 335/35 ZR 17 rear, developed exclusively for the F40. Compared to rivals, the F40 was a purist's dream. The Porsche 959, 450 horsepower, 1,450 kilograms, hit 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.7 seconds and 197 miles per hour, but its all-wheel drive and electronics softened the experience. The Lamborghini Countach LP 5000 QV, 450 horsepower, 1,490 kilograms, managed 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.8 seconds and 183 miles per hour, lacking the F40's turbo punch. The 1990 Lamborghini Diablo, 492 horsepower, 1,576 kilograms, achieved 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 4.5 seconds and 202 miles per hour, but arrived too late. Jaguar's XJ220, 542 horsepower, 1,470 kilograms, hit 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 3.6 seconds and 217 miles per hour, but its 1992 debut and compromised all-wheel drive loss dulled its edge. The F40's analog soul, light, raw, unforgiving, set it apart. Cultural impact, from shock to reverence. The F40's 1987 launch was a seismic event. Priced at $400,000, 5 times the 288 GTO's cost, it was Ferrari's priciest car, planned for 400 units but extended to 1,315 by 1992 due to overwhelming demand. US models, burdened with emissions equipment, weighed 1,369 kilograms and produced 484 horsepower, while European versions retained the pure 478 horsepower. Critics were divided. Some called it a cynical cash grab, its Spartan interior and harsh ride unfit for its price. A car for masochists, one reviewer quipped, citing the lack of air conditioning, radio, or carpet. Yet enthusiasts saw genius. Road and Track clocked 0 to 60 miles per hour in 4.2 seconds, declaring it a feast on the timid. Car Magazine hailed its savage, unfiltered thrill. The F40 became a cultural juggernaut. It adorned bedroom posters, starred in video games like Outrun, Test Drive, and Gran Turismo, and symbolized aspiration in films like The Wolf of Wall Street. Notable owners included Formula One champion Nigel Mansell, who sold his for £1 million in 1990, a record at the time. The Sultan of Brunei reportedly owned a one-off Barchetta, a roofless F40, whose existence Ferrari denies, but collectors whisper about. Motorsport variants like the F40 LM and Competizione, built by Michelotto, raced in IMSA and BPR series, winning at Laguna Seca and Anderstorp. From initial skepticism, the F40's reverence grew, its rawness redefining what a supercar could be. Dominance and legacy. The benchmark endures. The F40's enduring dominance stems from its purity. No ABS, no traction control, just 1,100 kilograms, 478 horsepower, and a driver's skill. Its power-to-weight ratio, 2.6 kilograms per horsepower, remains a benchmark, unmatched by many modern hypercars. Auction values reflect its sanctity. A 1990 US spec F40 fetched $2.425 million at Broad Arrow in 2024. An F40 LM eyed $9.5 million at RM Sotheby's in 2025, and a Competizione hit €2.312 million at Villa d'Este in 2025. Only 1,315 were built, many preserved as heirlooms, their rarity fueling demand. Against modern hypercars, the F40 holds a unique place. Ferrari's LaFerrari, 950 horsepower, hybrid, 217 miles per hour, and SF90 Straydale, 1,000 horsepower, are technological marvels, but their electronics dilute the raw connection. McLaren's P1, 903 horsepower, 0 to 100 kilometers per hour in 2.8 seconds, 217 miles per hour, and Bugatti's Chiron, 1,479 horsepower, 261 miles per hour, overwhelm with stats but cocoon drivers in digital aids. The F40, with its analog soul, defined Ferrari post-Enzo, a bridge to the hybrid era, yet a monument to mechanical purity. It cemented Ferrari's identity as purveyors of emotion, not just speed. The myth, until today, a living legend. The F40's mythos thrives in modern reviews. Jeremy Clarkson, in a 1990s Top Gear segment, called it terrifying, yet brilliant. Its turbo lag like Waiting for Godot before unleashing hell. Tiff Needell, on Fifth Gear, praised its raw, unfiltered experience. Chris Harris, in a 2018 video, declared it the greatest supercar ever. It's handling a telepathic dance. The V8's wail, part growl, part turbo whoosh, remains iconic, as does the tactile joy of its gated shifter. In polls by Evo, Autocar and Motor Trend, the F40 tops greatest supercar lists, often outranking the McLaren F1. Preservation is a religion. Owners like David Lee entrust their F40s to Ferrari Classiche, which certifies authenticity with meticulous records. Restoration shops like Michelotto and Carrozzeria Zanassi revive neglected examples, sourcing period-correct composites and turbos. Events like Pebble Beach and Concorso d'Eleganza Villa d'Este showcase pristine F40s, with low-mileage examples fetching $3.5 to $4 million. On X, enthusiasts share their passion. At the Crew Game in July 2025 called it one of the most iconic ever made, while at Retromania, ever in December 2024 dubbed it Enzo Ferrari's last word, sparking thousands of likes. Picture driving an F40 in 2025. You turn the key, the V8 sputters, turbos whine, then roar. The clutch bites, the gated shifter clunks, and you're launched. Tires clawing, body hunkering, world blurring. It's not just a car, it's a time machine, a portal to Enzo's vision. The F40 is more than metal. It's passion, defiance, legacy. In an era of silent EVs and autonomous aids, it screams why we love cars, the thrill of the untamed, the pulse of the analog. Time may advance, but the F40 races ahead, forever uncatchable.